Good evening, everybody, and welcome to possibly the last live episode of Into the Red Rabbit Hole. Those of you that have been following for a while know my situation physically, and it has definitely taken a turn for the worst. And I'm not too sure that it doesn't have something to do with the subject matter tonight. The world that we live in. But we'll get into that here as long as I'm able to talk. I'm going to do the disclaimer right now, and then we'll get into it. And the copyright disclaimer for Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all the podcasts on the channel. Declare fair use of any and all content, including the music, to be used under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances of fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, general knowledge, and entertainment value. Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel also uses the UCut app for all of its intro and outro and all of its basic video editing formats needs for the channel and all the podcasts on the channel, which gives us full rights to using the music. That being said, I also have to say not necessarily all the views that I discuss are not necessarily the views of anyone else involved in this channel. We are, and you're all wondering why I'm not showing my face. All right, here. Okay, here we go. I'm not doing too good, folks. And no amount of prayer is going to fix it. I already know. I've been uncovering things quite fast lately, and divulging it to you all. And some of the stuff I've found out, nobody's going to believe. Demaria, good to see you. Roxanne, thank you. Tanya, good to see you. Juno, good to see you, brother. There is, I don't even know where to begin. Hey, V Team Paranormal, how we doing? Kathy, good to see you. I've been doing research, as you all know. Carl, good to see you. Ozzy Sue, good to see you. I've been I've been finding out some things, and every time I come on, the powers that be mess with me psychically, like they're doing now. Even as I'm talking now, my whole left arm just went numb from my heart down into my hand. There was a time when I used to be able to use that power and turn it against them. But these aren't normal beings. This isn't medication talking. The only medication I've taken the last couple days is for the acid reflux of the cancer, the esophageal cancer, because I have no way to control it. And I take Regulin too for helping me to eat which my eating has dropped off drastically. Um, I I found out too much, man. Way too much. Um, this world that, and I've been trying to release it in bits and pieces on Facebook in the groups and stuff, and to you all that are in my messenger and on the chat. Um, how many of you out there know what the demiurge is? Have you ever heard the term demiurge? Demiurge. Demiurge. Have any of you out there ever heard of it? Juno, I know you probably haven't, brother, but you're going to want to compare this to a lot of the stuff that's going on right now. Let me tell you a little something about the demiurge. And I don't even know if it's its real name. And I'm calling it an it because it's not human. It's not even remotely human. You see, there is a group of believers of Christian faith. Don, good to see you. From a long time ago. And they've pretty much been ridiculed for speaking out about the demiurge. And I don't want to go into religious ideology and all that. But it had me questioning a lot of things. And it had me investigating. And the deeper I dove into it, the more I drowned. The world that we live in, all the symbols that you see, all the numbers that are thrown up, all the hidden symbols, even the Freemason symbols. They're all done for a reason. And I'm not saying Freemasons are evil because I'm one myself, okay? So let's not go down that road. But what I will say is not everybody is good. And the demiurge, you see, the demiurge is described as nobody's going to believe me. You all know what Quetzalcoatl is, and you all know what Kukulkan is. Bounty, good to see you. Urso, good to see you. You all know the Mayan prophecy and the Aztecs as far as the god that they prayed to, which was a serpent being. Okay. We all know the descriptions in Japanese and Chinese culture of the dragons, the water dragons that look like snakes, and the sky dragons, how they flowed, like a snake in the sky and like a snake in the water going side to side. We've all heard of the Naga, I think. Hey, girl. I hope Gus is fine. Give him a hug for me. We all know the Naga. We all know that I disclosed something about the Naga and about being connected to the reptilian and to the Garden of Eden and all that. Yeah, the Naga. I don't have a picture of it, but I'll put it up on my social media. Yeah, for entertainment purposes. Um, anyways, the more I delved into this, into following my hunches, the sicker I got. Um, the more physically debilitating I got. Um, almost like I was getting too close to something supernaturally. And this supernatural entity is a lot stronger than I think I was on my best day when I was younger. I mean, the stuff I used to do, I used to think I was unstoppable. I mean, I used to feed off of normal people's fear. Well, that brings me to my conclusion. Feeding off of people's fear, Jason, good to see you, is exactly what this thing is doing. This thing is doing ungodly things to humanity, unholy things. Like me, in my younger days when I did the dark Native American arts, when I did the skinwalker ceremonies and I called forth certain spirits and entities and beings, and I did the curses and the hexes and the mind manipulation. I know how powerful of a feeling that was when I did that. And this thing, this demiurge, it is, I can't even describe its power. I can't begin to even tell you how powerful it is. If it can take me down in a week's time, like that, to being a mere speck of what I used to be a week ago, it's powerful. And it's evil. This thing is described like Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan and all the other um, entities that were worshipped in thousands of years ago. I mean, every culture in the world has stories of giant serpents. Well, the demiurge is described as a giant serpent with a lion type of a head. And I didn't think about the description until it dawned on me. The more I dove and looked into things connected to it, the less I was able to sleep and the less I was able to eat and the less I was able to believe with my own eyes. The demiurge is well, it considers himself a god. And yes, I must say that it sure has the power of a god. Maybe not the god, but it's powerful. And everything, and I mean everything that happens in this world is manipulated through him and his minions. Some religions call them demons, others call them the jinn. Some religions call them the naga. Here in America, we know to call them as reptilians. They all answer to the demiurge. The demiurge is their leader. Man, I don't know how to describe what I'm about to say, but I'm sure some of you already have an idea. Some of the deep, dark stuff that I talk about and that I have uncovered. And just look at some of the links that I've made and Eric have made together with connecting the satanic occults and the vampires and the red-haired giant bloodline and the royal families and certain elitists and stuff. You know, certain connections that we've made all the way back to Lilith. Well, the demiurge has been around. You know how people talk about the mud flood? It's been around much longer than that. You see, humanity has been recycled several times. And each time it's because of the demiurge. Because people are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize that there is a certain something going on that normally doesn't occur in this world. And certain people in high government positions, current and past, have an obligation to this bloodline. They've taken an oath for this bloodline. You call them whatever you want. But this bloodline is getting to the point where if humanity doesn't wake up and do something about it, there's no hope for anybody. None. You can call the demiurge the leader of the fallen if you want. He's been known many different names. The serpent in the garden that convinced Eve to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He's been known as Elil, Anunnaki. He's been known as Quetzalcoatl. You see, my research took me down a path to where I probably shouldn't have gone. Even now, they're messing with my video. I don't have anybody else on here with me. I've got full internet strength. And my video is spotty at best. The main reason I went down this road I had a hunger for the truth, and I wanted the truth. I wanted to make sure that, everything that we were taught by our parents was the truth. And the only thing I found out that was truthful was that this world that we live in, not all of us are humanity. There's a certain sect of what we believe to be a part of humanity that isn't humanity. They're not human in any way, shape, or form. You've all seen it. And we see hints every day on videos and stuff online. Eric and I have played them on the channel here, the short video clips of, hey, Woo, good to see you. The short video clips of, the magic with a K, or about the vampires and the water, and, all these connections have been made. And by the way, the demiurge lives in the water. That's one thing I found out. It's an entity, a thing, and I'm not going to call it a god. I refuse to call it a god. I'm probably going to pay for that, but oh well. But I refuse. All the spirits that I talk to, and the elementals, now I know why they gathered around me. It's not to harm me. It's because they knew all along, from when I was a child, that when the dark forces had a hold of me and wanted me to work for them, and only them. I mean, I've told you all about the time I was floating off my bed, the bunk beds in my bedroom as a child, and my father having to run in and pull me down from being up against the ceiling. And he held me until they let go. I always chalked it up to, thinking back at it, because as a child, you don't think anything really. I mean, what are you going to think, You're floating off your bed? No. They were trying to take me. And that's what they've been trying to do my whole life. That's why they put me in situations that, see, what they did is they made a monster that they couldn't control. that the demiurge couldn't control. Whatever you want to call him, if you want to call him Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, that's fine with me. Whatever religion you are, that's fine. You call him whatever you want. But they made a monster they couldn't control, they couldn't confine, they couldn't force to do its way. So they tried to make me afraid my whole life. And that didn't work either. See, the demiurge, I don't even want to call it a he. I refuse to call it a he, and I refuse to call it a god. The demiurge, thrives off of fear. And its minions, whether you call them demons, nagas, jinn, whatever you want to call them, reptilian, they're the ones that feed off of the flesh of humanity and drink the blood of humanity and adrenochrome. Okay? You see, the demiurge, he is literally, there I go again, calling it a he. It is literally 3/4, supposedly, of a god bloodline and 1/4 of something else bloodline. I don't want to say human because it's not. It could possibly be just just 1/4 of reptilian bloodline as far as that goes. It's existed for, well, it's existed for a long, long time. You know, people talk about why were the bells removed from churches? The same reason wrought iron was removed from cemeteries. The same reason that you don't see a whole lot of crosses anymore in cemeteries, do you? You see a regular tombstone. You see, this whole world is masked by signs and symbolisms and numbers because they have to divulge it. Oh, shit, man, am I getting hit right now? All right. If anybody wants to know how I've been feeling this last several days, I feel like I'm falling. I feel like literally the other night, the last time we were on, I believe I described the way I've been feeling lately as having my spirit or my soul pulled from my body. And it almost feels like that. But at the same time, it's a feeling of, and my military brothers and sisters out there that have ever jumped out of a perfectly good helicopter or plane should know this, that feeling of falling that never ends. That's how I've been feeling lately. That's why I wasn't able to go on yesterday or the day before. I was literally feeling like I was falling from a height that was imaginable. I couldn't even describe it. And I'm not one that fears anything. I'm not one that fears heights. I'm not one that fears giant snakes with lions' heads. I refuse to let it take my fear and live off of it. And that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. This whole world is designed that way. Think about it. Just open your minds up and think about it. This whole world has been designed to keep humanity within fear. This whole world has been designed by the demiurge and its minion to seek the ruin of humanity, just like it says in the Bible. Okay, but the Bible calls him Satan or Lucifer, the devil. And like I said, I don't care what you call him. My research has found out that he's, there I go again, calling him a he. I refuse to. I'm not going to give him or it the permission from my words to give him it power. I refuse to. I will say this, that the reason all the little people and the videos that I put out of the SLS camera and stuff from the house here that showing the little people and showing all the elementals around me in the stuff that I make, the rattles, everything I used in ceremony. They're all connected to the spirit world, and they're all blessed with these entities that protect them and protect me. That's why they're around me. The other night, about 3 or 4 nights ago, or no, it's about 3 or 4 podcasts ago, excuse me, I made a comment live that, I have guardian angels around me and I have an elemental that's always on my left side. And that elemental is huge. In fact, I can only see the probably about the first 8 to 10 feet of it, because then I look up and I see a ceiling. These beings have known a long time that the demiurge wanted me. And now that he knows that I figured out its whole plan for humanity, it wants to seek my ruin, and he wants to ruin me immediately. It doesn't want to wait. There are much worse things out there than Bigfoot people and ghosts. Much worse. I've seen it my whole life. I've seen things that would make people's skin crawl and drive people insane. Literally. Yeah, it is like that, Urso. Urso, you are one, Urso, and Roxanne, and Eric, if he's listening, and Woo. I mean, you're all in the chat, but you're all going to have your work cut out for you, because this thing doesn't play around. You see, I found out the secret, and that's why it's always tried to stop me from disclosing it. It started with me and Dennis working together and pinpointing the eyes, the red glowing eyes that look like red glowing or oranges glowing headlights hitting you. I'm not talking just the regular illumination of eye shine. That's nothing. Okay. I'm talking that supernatural, that deep, dark feeling you get when you see that eye shine that's so bright it looks like two spotlights hitting you. Think about it. The demiurge, his minions are described as having red glowing eyes. Think about how many instances that there have been with people that had no idea what a cryptid creature was. And the first one they come across has red glowing eyes. And think about how violent of encounters those were. Those encounters were very violent. In fact, a lot of them were. Every time you deal with something with red glowing eyes, you're dealing with something that is very supernatural in strength. You're not dealing with the flesh and blood to where you can kill it if you had a chance, or you could get away if you had a chance. This thing will follow you. These things don't screw around. The demiurge is vicious. That's why he can wipe out humanity. And if you look at the signs that's going on right now, the violent weather, all the tornadoes, 270 tornadoes in the last 24 hours. 270. When have we seen that? And how many of you have ever seen the tornado and heard it and felt it coming for you? You see, I put this protective, it's like a cloaking spell. I prayed for it to work. And all those violent tornadoes yesterday and into early mornings, even around here, not one of them came close. In fact, the only thing we got really was rain and a little bit of thunder and lightning, but nothing major. It's seeking. It's searching for everyone that speaks out, everyone that comes close to disclosing it and all of its minion. And like I said, you can believe me or not. It's up to you. I'm not twisting anybody's arm to believe me, but you'll find out. Turns your whole world upside down, inside out, stretches and twists reality. Exact description, Bounty, exact description. You see, it wants you to confirm that it's a god. That's why I refuse to call it a god. The demiurge is not a god. To me, it's just a, well, I won't say it because there might be kids listening. Anyways, this demiurge seeks to control humanity at all costs through music, through TV, through movies, through merchandise, through stock market. It's connected to what they call the black box society. How many of you heard of the black box society? The black box society has even been depicted in movies. Marvel's had it. They called it what would they call it? The cube that they had. Even Star Trek back in the old days used to have it called the cube. It's been in front of us the whole time. You see, it has to disclose little things in order for all their spells that they cast on humanity to work. But their spells won't work if you're not afraid. Their spells won't work if you have faith in a being that's a lot more powerful and created all the universes. You stand in your faith. Very good, Urso. See? Very good, Urso. You know. You know. It's not rocket science. It's not, oh man, sorry. I'm feeling like I want to fall forward. I just don't know how to make everybody believe. It's like it's blocked us off from our original creator. And it's kept us confined in a Dalai Lama, where it controls everything, the weather, the food. I mean, think about it. All the recalls on food, we never had that many. Do you know they've got recalls on survival food, dehydrated food is supposed to last 25 years? I mean, they are controlling everything. And now they're telling us we can't eat. So we can't pray to a less vengeful, unforgiving God. We can't eat certain things now. We have to get pokey pokes. You have to buy whatever they want. Go to whatever store that they want you to go to. Invest in whatever they want you to. You know, the best advice my old man ever gave me was that I didn't need to go to a building to pray to my creator. That if I wanted to talk to the creator, I could talk to him one-on-one. But even the demiurge is trying to stop that communication. or he'll intercept it. There I go, he'll. I don't want to even dignify it that it's human, because it's not. All the encounters that have been happening lately with the cryptid activity, with the paranormal, with the ghosts and the spirits and elementals and the things you're seeing in the sky. I'm not going to say it's not real. What I will say is it is real, but at the same time, it's also being manipulated by the darkest part of humanity that they have sworn the allegiance to, the demiurge and his minion. In other words, what we call the shadow government or the cabal, the military industrial complex, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call it, the black cube society, whatever you want to call it. They're all working together. Hey, Larry. Larry, thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Before I go any further, it's been almost an hour, but I want to let everybody know that as long as I'm capable of doing a video, I'll be doing videos. They're not probably going to be an hour or two long like some of my, lives. But they're going to be informative, to say the least. So I've put a couple of them up already on the members only site. I'll have to get together and do some more, but if you've ever felt like a storm has been coming for you or looking for you, odds are it has, especially if you are speaking out about the evil. Hi, Moon. TG, good to see you. Sputnik music. I completely got sidetracked just now. Take for instance the Cherokee Death Cat. Let's just take that one thing for instance as just one part of the puzzle that sets before us when it comes to dealing with the supernatural and the cryptid activity. Okay, let's and Larry does it again. Thank you, Larry. And Misty, East Tennessee. Hope you guys made it through that thunderstorm and the tornadoes last night. David. Good to see David on here, and I'm sure Melissa's listening, or at least I hope so. Corey, good to see you. I'm doing this without my sidekick, so, and I'm doing this as far as not doing good, let's put it that way. Um, but take the Cherokee Death Cat for just one part of the puzzle. Whereas it's described the Wampus Cat and the Cherokee Death Cat are pretty much the same thing. They're interchangeable to a point, but the legend is the legend. Okay, the legend is the key. The legend is that a Native American woman observed and basically heard and watched a secret ceremony that she wasn't allowed to see. And she was cursed by the elders of the tribe and turned into this beast. Okay. This beast is described as several different ways. It's described looking like this. Hence, there it is. Look at the eyes. The red glowing eyes. That's why I always say anything supernatural is going to have the red eyes. And it's going to look like beams, headlights coming at you. Okay? So, we have the Wampus Cat, otherwise known as the Cherokee Death Cat. Okay? Now, I believe that there is some, I don't want to say exaggeration in descriptions. We know that from talking about cryptid activity and how anybody has an encounter, their adrenaline rush is going. I mean, David, you know, from being in law enforcement, the all the factors and shock and stuff that play into getting a physical description of something. That's not to say that a deformity can't happen. It happens in nature all the time. Just look at the perfectly good two-headed snakes. Okay, that's a perfect example. Mutations happen in wildlife and nature all the time. Okay, that's a given. I'm not saying that this isn't an actual cursed Native woman, but it is looking more. Here is the actual lore. The Cherokee folklore offers a few perspectives of the Wampus Cat, or otherwise known as the Cherokee Death Cat. One legend tells of the running deer, a Cherokee woman who wanted to take down the evil spirit Inwa, known to the spirit of madness. Okay? Think about that. That has a lot to play into what I was talking about. The spirit of madness. Running Deer wanted revenge, for she believed the spirit was responsible for driving her husband, Standing Bear, to madness. Okay? Now, I'll leave that up for you guys too to read. All the legends and stuff in indigenous cultures around the world, you know, we have these legends for a reason. And first off, we teach our children very young about these legends so they don't get scared easily. That's not to say that they possibly didn't have some kind of fear within them, but we would prepare them for a possible encounter in their life. Okay, and we would tell them and teach them on how to react to certain things. This was more of a protective thing for the children and the people than anything. Okay, and the demiurge doesn't want us to disclose that. Anything that we disclose to humanity to protect them, he'll seek to destroy, and he'll get rid and silence the ones disclosing it. The one part of humanity that has basically become and joined with the demiurge and its minions are described as nagas. Human torsos and head and 2 arms, but a snake-like body. Okay? Those are the sellouts of humanity. They do all kinds of things to manipulate you, to keep you confused, to keep you buying things and fearing things. They start wars. They start plagues. They they start food shortages. They start poisoning waters, volcano eruptions, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes. It's all part of their grand design. It's exactly what it is. It's a grand design to keep you, humanity, dependent upon it. And I'm not going to say what I said. I'm saying that it's going to be an it. Hey, Van, good to see you. Oh, that's one thing, Van. I don't fear. I don't fear anything. I don't. Anybody in the chat that knows me can tell you that. I don't. I don't have any fear. And that's why this demiurge is coming after me specifically. I certainly don't fear death because I don't believe in death. In order to fear something, you got to believe in it. And I refuse to believe that death is a permanent thing because it's not. Been there, done that, a couple near-death experiences in my lifetime already. So I don't fear it. And I certainly don't fear the demiurge or its minion. We'll see what happens with that. And David, I've talked to you through Messenger and stuff. If anybody wants to get an update on me, I'm sure you can get a hold of David and Melissa. They'll update you to the best of their ability. There's things that I tell David that I don't want disclosed. So let's see. Yeah, TG. I just, it's a good metaphor as far as the rabbit hole thing goes. But there is there is so much. I mean, think about it. We have been put through the ringer. We're taught to fear everything, and we're taught not to question our education. Honor thy mother and father. Well, honoring them doesn't mean you have to agree with them or their teaching. That's not part of honoring. You can respect them. Honoring is a little bit more. Here's another way that the demiurge and the evil that's in the world seeks to control humanity. This is a subliminal acoustic manipulation of the nervous system. It's a patent for the 5G network. It affects the brain big time. Okay? It affects what you see, what you hear, every sense that you have. So if you think for one instance that they can't or won't use this to manipulate what's in the sky that you see, to make you afraid so the demiurge can thrive off of your fear, got another thing coming. I'm telling you. Here's another thing, too. How many of you know that just because they say they're removing things from the food, that how many of you think that they're doing it? Because I found out that they are not removing it. They are just relabeling it. You might want to screenshot this and take this with you next time you go grocery shopping. It's even broke down to the molecular formula of it and the name change. Allura Red AC, Erifacin, Fast Green FCF. I mean, think about it, guys. They don't have to remove it. It'll look all nice and pretty on TV and make people feel all warm and oozy all over. But they don't have to remove it. All they got to do is change it, tweak it. They've been doing it your whole lives. They've been doing it your whole lives. They manipulate you that way. Alexander, great to see you. Lauren, great to see you. They have been seeking the ruin of humanity. I mean, the mud floods, civilization has been built upon top of civilization for so long. Mud Fossil University tells it best with the giants, that we're literally walking on the remains of the giants. Literally. Yeah, the biblical giants, the book of giants, the book of Enoch, Mary Magdalene's, the book of Thomas, they were all removed from the original Bible from a certain individual that claimed to leave pagan ways and religion and do more of, and become Christian. Well, that whole the thing was so he could have control of Europe and Persia and all that, that whole area. He wanted control of that whole area. And if you think about it, the way the earth is described, I'm not going to say the earth is flat, okay, because we all know it's not. It's more of a like a squished ball. You know what I mean? Like a ball that's deflated a little bit, okay? It's not perfectly spear. It's not a perfect spear. It just doesn't make any logical sense to be a perfectly good spear. But and one of the reasons too that I believe that is, well, I'm not laughing it off, but I definitely won't be afraid. That's for sure, Van. And you are right. I mean, you have to look it in the eye and just say, you know what, you're not going to scare me. I refuse to be scared. As soon as we start saying that and confirming that with our words, hey Ryan, good to see you, little brother. As soon as we start confirming that with our own words coming out of our mouth, that nothing scares us, that we stand in our faith, or we we have nothing to fear, the better humanity is going to be. The only way they can control you and they can become stronger is by taking and living off of your fear. Picture it kind of like a vampire drinking blood. Okay. I know, kind of sick, but for my vampire friends out there, at least I let you go. It's the same principle. If they can manipulate the weather to intensify it with Doppler radar installations at every major airport and every small airport, most news stations, most TV stations, the Doppler radar is a fascinating thing. They can direct storms with it. Did you know that? They can literally have an array of Doppler radars in a certain pattern or a certain line and push a storm to a certain area of the country or even the world. That's the ones that are working for the minions of the demiurge. And Ryan, you might want to watch the beginning of this because that's where you're going to learn about the demiurge. Just so you know, brother. Those of you that see things, that experience things, that encounter things, just keep in mind to control your emotions, control your anxiety, your emotions, your fear, try to contain yourself. Don't show any emotion. Some of the best encounters that I had growing up was when I really didn't even give a shit. I just kept on walking and walking away. I didn't give a shit it was there. And they respect that. If you want to be left alone, then hey, they want to be left alone. Guess what? You both agreed on something. But it's the one with the red eyes, I'm telling you. The red-eyed encounters that you all are having are not of this. They're not as they appear. I'll just put it to you that way. Okay? They're not as it appears. Any red-eyed encounter you have, whether it's a shadow being, the Hat Man, we all hear the stories of Hat Man. I see shadow people dozens of times a day. I've posted video of SLS cameras that I have online of entities that are here every day. There is a way to deal with this and a way not to deal with it. There's going to be people out there who are going to scoff at it and say, oh yeah, he's just crazy, he's been drinking. Well, the only thing I drink is water and coffee. So what's your excuse now? I've dealt with this my whole life. Since the age of 3, when I had my first near-death experience and started getting taught the dark arts of the native people, of my people. I lived it. I was evil. I was literally the most evil person you'd ever want to meet, even as a child. Oh yeah, I played it off like I was happy-go-lucky. But in the inside, I hated everything and everybody because that's all I knew. That's all I was taught. And I was taught to use that. So I built my power around that hatred. And then I finally realized that it wasn't doing me any good and it was harming more than it was helping. And when I realized that, that's when the darkness and the demiurge got basically pissed off at me and turned on me. It's not an easy thing to keep spirits, malevolent spirits, and entities at bay. But ever since I gave up on the darkness, I've been fighting it. There's at least half a dozen people in the last 4 years that have come to me wanting protection from skinwalkers and stuff like that. One of them was a Mothman. Again, the red glowing eyes, supernatural. And I always used the Sapa Pajita Wakan, sacred knife, the medicine, the black medicine knife. And yeah, I wear it. I wear it around my neck. I carry it with me everywhere I go. And it gets passed on to someone that takes what I do seriously. The evil and the darkness has always been there. This world was designed as soon as the creator kicked the demiurge. Well, let's just say that since the beginning, after the first flood, was when it started. Yes, Lauren, fear itself is a lie. They want you to food for thought, yeah. I'm sure Van knows that the evil that is in the world, and Urso knows, and I'm pretty sure. I know Corey knows. The evil we're talking about is it's more than like Lucifer that we're taught. Okay, it's 1,000 times more evil than what we're taught in any ancient writing, whether it's Japanese, Chinese, from India, the Vedas, the Apocryphas, the copper scrolls, the emerald tablet. They all describe pretty much the same thing. This is an ancient evil. And now that humanity, for the most part, is waking up and seeing it firsthand and questioning it, it's good and it's bad in a way. It's good that humanity's seeing it now, but it's bad because now that they know they're seeing it and that it's real, they're fearing it, which means they're feeding it and they're making it stronger. When I tell you not to fear it, you have to not fear it. Don't pay it any mind. Oh, it'll seek to destroy you. It'll come for you eventually. Especially if you're like me and you talk out about it. You cannot have any fear. William, this entity was defeated by the blood of Jesus Christ. Respectfully, how is it able to torment you? Tanya, it is that's the thing. The part of this world that we don't see is that everything we do, we are constantly interacting with it. Okay. We buy bottled water. Okay. And I've made the water connection to everything already. I'm not going to beat that dead horse another time. But hey, Stuart, the water we're drinking is dead water. I'll show you what I mean by dead water, Tanya. I'm not sure if you saw that before or not, but here, I'm going to play a little video. That way I can get a drink of coffee too, guys, okay? Give me 1 second. Okay. Now we're going to
test the Arrowhead water. Okay? Okay. Barely any light at all. It's dead. It's dead water. It has no electrical current. Let's try the Dasani. Nope. Very dead. Let's try Essentia. Okay, this is supposed to be alkaline water. Nope. Nothing. Now let's try Kangen water. Do you see what just happened, guys? This water is electrically charged. Okay? It's rich in antioxidants naturally. There's no additives added to the water. It is all created by an electrical process. It's called an electrolysis. Okay, let's go back.
That is the water we need to be drinking. Okay? We need to be drinking that water that has that supernatural charge to it, that electricity. It's just like when we do a paranormal investigation, and I've hit this a million times already. When we do a paranormal investigation and it starts thunderstorming, and then what comes after it starts thunderstorming and lightning, it starts raining. Okay? And then the paranormal activity picks up. The supernatural activity spikes because of that electrified water, that supercharged water, which is what we should be drinking. It's the one thing that they have done and dumbed us down from since the beginning. In 1938, when Hitler decided to put fluoride in their drinking water to dumb down the people that would rebel from Hitler being in charge. Okay? It's a slow death. Fluoride is a slow death, but yet it is a killer. But it is also going to calcify parts of your brain to make you easier to confuse and easier to manipulate, okay, and to keep you ignorant. There's just no other way to do it and no other way to say it. It's the same thing. They have selected certain parts of what we are supposed to have, even our food. Why do you think they put certain chemicals and stuff and dyes in our food? Everything that they add takes away from our spiritual strength, our way of connecting to the Creator, to Jesus Christ, to God. That's just the way it is. Whatever faith you are, even if you're Wiccan, even if you're pagan, the Druids even knew it. The Druids knew it. Why do you think I tell people all the time when they go out in the woods and they're Bigfoot hunting, don't beat a stick on a tree unless you want to ring the dinner bell? It's the same principle. We did it because it would let the elemental that was part of that tree to come forward, and we would have to, when we needed help spiritually. In the old days, being Native American, we would do that. We would go and we would knock on a tree and we would ask that elemental to come forward, and we would ask that elemental for help. And it would help us if it deemed us worthy. Okay? That's just the way it was back in the old days. The same with the Druids. The Druids did it. They did it all the time. Okay, whenever they needed something to be helped with, So there's certain things that they're doing to dumb us down and to take that away from us, to take that sacred connection, that conduit of spiritualness away from us to the Creator. They've done it since day one, and they do it over and over again. because we know throughout history, civilization has been built upon civilization, and humanity has had to suffer mud floods and all kinds of stuff and literally rebuild itself over again. It's happening again right now, right before your very eyes. The ones that we think are good and really doing a good job for people and all that are the same old evil. And I hate to say it, but it's true. I didn't want to believe it, but it's true. Here's another way they manipulate us, okay? They have to show these things because if they don't disclose it through soft disclosure, all the spell casting that has been done to put a blinder over humanity and making humanity forget won't work. Okay, when I did the dark arts, I would have to soft disclose certain things, whether it was like through a joke or just an off the cuff statement. And people would look at me like, well, what do you mean by that? Well, you won't ever find out because you won't know, because you just made my spell work. That's just a form of control. That's how they do it. They do it in advertising. They do it in music. They do it in printed paper, in books. That's why they took so many books out of the Bible, the original Bible, back in 325 AD with Constantine. Okay. Just the one world religion thing is what it was. It's all Constantine wanted. He wanted the one world religion, and he almost succeeded. He almost had Catholicism across all of Europe and Asia and Africa and the Middle East. He almost succeeded. But at the time, he didn't know we were even over here in America. So, and that's a whole nother thing too, because they've messed with the world map too on us. So that's a whole nother thing. You do your research on that, and I'm sure you'll find out there's some strange shit going on with the world map. That's for sure. But here's a way that they do it with magic with a K. Okay.
Put your finger up like this. Put your finger up like this. Come together. Stay right here. Good. Put your hands in your lap. Close your eyes, look straight ahead. And I want you to imagine, Kai, you're looking into a mirror. And as you look into the mirror, you don't see yourself, you see Sexy looking back at you. Now, Sexy, you can keep your eyes open and look at me, okay? And anytime you feel me touch you, you just raise your hand again. Here we go.
Wait, what?
What? Nobody touched me? Oh God, say no, say oh God, nobody touched me.
Keep your eyes closed.
Say oh God, nobody
This
touched
is
me.
real?
Somebody touched my waist.
Bitch!
Okay, open your eyes.
Bitch!
Word to
Yo, what?
Nobody touched me. Nobody touched me. God, word to say he didn't touch me. Word to my mother, word to Shanika James. Word to my mother, somebody touched me.
I'm telling you guys, you got no idea what you're dealing with. I'm going to play that again so you see it without that. I had that comment up there, so I'm going to play it one more time for you all.
Put your finger up like this. Put your finger up like this. Come together. Stay right here. Good. Put your hands in your lap. Close your eyes, look straight ahead. And I want you to imagine, Kai, you're looking into a mirror. And as you look into the mirror, you don't see yourself, you see Sexy looking back at you. Now, Sexy, you can keep your eyes open and look at me, okay? And anytime you feel me touch you, you just raise your hand again. Here we go.
Wait, what?
What? nobody touched me. Oh God, say no, say oh God, nobody touched me.
Keep your eyes closed.
Say oh God, nobody
This
touched
is
me.
real?
Somebody touched my waist.
Bitch.
Okay, open your eyes.
Bitch.
Word to God.
Yo, what?
Nobody touched me. Nobody touched me. Now, word to say she didn't touch me. Word to my mother. Word to Shania James. Word to my mother. Somebody touched me.
That's what you're dealing with. Okay. That's just one fraction of what you're dealing with. There is so much that it's amazing. And you know, everybody can spoof magic all they want, but the Druids used it, you know. I used it in ceremony. I know it's real. There is something to be said about finding your inner strength, your power. The Chinese and the Japanese, they talk about it as your chi, you know, and you work with your chi, you know, and you take and you can use your energy, because we all have this energy field around us, and we can take and we can manipulate that chi, and we can even use it, that chi, and we can bottle that power up into a tight little ball, and you can feel your hands shaking like mine are, and you can throw it at somebody and they will fall backwards on their ass if you do it right. There are so many things that we have been deceived and decepted to the point and had removed from our knowledge base, that basically we're actually in the original books of the Bible. The book of Thomas talks about it. The book of Enoch talks about things, you know, that was removed from our knowledge. You know, the book of Mary Magdalene is another one. The book of Jubilee, you know, it's, if you want to start somewhere, start with the book of Thomas and think about it, because every Joshua Khan, every medicine person out there, male and female, on any reservation, they're going to tell you that a lot of the times your prayers don't have to have words. They have to have a vision, a way of seeing it and calling it forth, a way of making it rain just by thinking about it and imagining it and feeling your bare feet sinking down into the wet, soggy mud, and the mud getting between your toes, you know, and the feel of it hitting your face and dripping down your face and your cheeks, you know, and that chill on the back of your neck from it raining and getting cooler, you know, because it's so hot, you know. And then on visualizing your crops growing because of that rain. Now, there's no way to control the amount of it happening, but as soon as you are able to find that spiritual strength that even taught us in the Bible that we have that within us, it's amazing. But that is nothing compared to the demiurge's strength right now, because he's feeding off of everybody's fear. And there I go, calling it a he again. I got to stop that. It is feeding off of everybody's fear. If you make the connections that I've made, you'll understand. Okay? And you'll see for yourself. That's all I can say. I'm getting really, really tired and really, really dizzy, guys. But I'm going to play a couple more clips just so you can know that these things do happen, and they say we're crazy, and they can claim that we're crazy all they want. But I know when I'm on the other side looking down at everybody and going, I told you so, but nobody listened. That's fine. If nobody wants to listen, that's their prerogative. That's on them, man. I can't make grown adults believe anything. And I'm not begging anybody to believe it. This is my experiences and my research. I've done this over 60 years. I've experienced it my whole life. And now that I'm coming towards the end, short of some miracle, I'm just going to play these clips, and you guys can be the judge and do it, think whatever you want. But it's all connected. And as soon as everybody opens up their eyes and sees how it's all connected, they're going to be blown away. You guys are going to be totally like, holy crap. Nighthawk warned us.
They eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh, and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They covered it all up. And, you know, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country.
Now, she's specifically talking about the Rothschild family. Let me tell you something about the Rothschild family. Their bloodline is the same bloodline of the Demiurge's creation. Okay? So it just has been tainted a little bit with humanity's bloodline. But the Rothschilds have always known. That's why they got their bloodline intermixed with the royal family in the UK. That's why they got their blood within the Vatican. A lot of people don't know that. The Vatican works for the Rothschilds just as much as the Smithsonian does, and NASA does, World Economic Forum does, BlackRock, the Black Cube Society. Think about it. Do your own research, guys. It's real. It's happening around us every day. I just wish I could let everybody see through my eyes. Of course, then you'd probably get scared to death too from half the stuff that I see on a daily basis. But for that, I want to thank everybody for being here and dealing with me and tolerating me for the last hour and a half. Yeah, Corey, you started yours at a young age too. Yeah. Yeah. Tornadoes are they are a wonder. They really are. They're great energy, just like a thunderstorm. But at the same time, they're designed by the darkness to strike fear in humanity. It's just another tool of the trade. That's all it is. Hey, Joanne. It's just another tool of the trade, guys. And we need to, Lauren. Yeah. Just don't show fear. Because remember, the darkness, the evil is going to thrive off of fear. That's I don't know how much plainer to make it to everybody is just to say, it's just the way it is. It's set up that way. It's designed that way. Okay. And the design is not to benefit humanity at all. It really isn't. The demiurge is, I mean, you can call the demiurge Lucifer, Satan, the devil, whatever you want to call them. You can call the minions, the fallen ones, demons, reptilians, vampires, the whole 9 yards. They're all interchangeable. Okay, they're all together. The Naga, Quetzalcoatl, the demiurge. Compare them. Check out what a demiurge is and check out what Quetzalcoatl was. And then you'll see the connection from the demiurge and Quetzalcoatl to the Naga, who are half serpent and half human. You'll find that connection if you just look for it. This heifer, good to see you. If you just look for it, you'll find it. I'm telling you, man, these things are real. It's out there. And a lot of times when people talk about seeing these cryptids with, like I said, these red glowing eyes, they're fooling themselves if they think it's just a cryptid, an undiscovered species. They're fooling themselves. They're not an undiscovered species. They're a supernatural entity that has been here a very long time. In the Middle East, they're called jinn. In America, they're called demons. Reptilians in the UK. It's all the same thing, man. It's just different names. It's just like calling a Bigfoot a Yowie in Australia or a Yeren in China. It's all the same thing, guys. Maybe differences tweaked a little bit, but not very much. It's all pretty much the same thing. Please like, heart, and share this out as best as you guys can. I'm going to fall out of my chair here pretty soon because I am really beat. And I love you all for being here. Thank you for putting up with this. But if you can, please share this out. And hey, Candy, good to see you. You can, I got some more t-shirts being made too, coming up. I've got one design on into the Red Rabbit Hole. And I'm thinking that if I do anything, I'm debating on whether to keep the weekend morning show going and taking the weekends off to basically, recover from whatever I'm going through the week, and maybe just doing like the Friday night, podcast like we are tonight. I have a lot more strength in me physically to do the one podcast a week, and then do a couple videos released throughout the week, because I can take my time with those. Okay. And I can put them out, weekly too. So I'm thinking about doing it to where I can get out and take the cameras with me, and I'll do some walking around, and I'll do as much teaching as I can about things. Give people more of an insight on how I figure things out and how I look at things and interpret things, which is basically, my basic tracking skills that I've been taught through the military and through being Native American. Thank you, Roxanne. Yeah, I want to thank the mods, Corey, Urso, Roxanne, everybody. Thank you very much, girl. She's probably sleeping with Gus right now. Hell, William. I'm not sure what you mean there, Stuart. Let me go back and look to see if I can figure out what you... Well, I'll figure it out later. I have cases of it. Survival food, yeah. I'm telling you, they have definitely. They're ruining everything, man. They're controlling whatever they can to put fear in humanity. They really are, and they know that there's people like Camo Dad out there, or myself and Eric and all that, and other people that try to prepare for the bad things that happen in the world. Camo Dad, good to see you. But they know that there's more than one way to skin a cat, basically. Okay. And they've been doing it our whole lives. Okay. They've been doing it, like I said, through TV, through music, through printed newspapers, starting wars, starting pandemics, starting, food shortages. How about how many of you remember the fear that everybody had about the mad cow disease? They tried to do the same thing with the bird flu, with calling all the chickens lately. That's the way they manipulate it. They manipulate your fear through everything that you have to deal with every day of your lives. Okay. And that includes the weather. Okay. That includes literally everything. Everything. Every time you go into a Walmart. Okay. Pretty soon, that's all you're going to have is Walmarts or Dollar Generals, those type of stores, or you'll have to buy it from Amazon. And now they've been utilizing AI. And my theory on the whole AI thing, I think AI has been around since ancient times, because it's been a proven fact that ancient civilizations have had better technology than we have currently today. So anyways, that's all I've got tonight, guys. I am really tired. I'm not, like I said, I'm not doing too good. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to my mods. I wouldn't have been able to get through an hour and a half with, almost 2 hours actually, back to back with everything without you guys. Thank you for your help. Divergent, good to see you. But let me see if there's any questions here. The demiurge is, how I want to describe this. I always have this habit of saying he is, and I'm not going to say that. It is a, how do I want to say this? It is a entity that is just a step below the creator, God, who created everything. The demiurge is said to be 3/4 God and 1/4 something else, and I believe it's snake, like a real snake's DNA, because it's described as a giant serpent with a lion's head. And if you think about it, and you coordinate that with remembering a lot of the hieroglyphics in Egypt, with all the mutations on the hieroglyphics in Egypt with the animals and the human DNA. Well, this is a reptile or a snake DNA and a God DNA. And the God DNA is represented by the lion's head. Now, I can also take that even one step further and tell you that it is a supernatural power, because it's represented by the lion's head. Because, as you know, the some of the Nephilim had animal heads and human bodies. Okay, so, and the Nephilim were only like half demigod and half human. So, but if you take it one step further, how did God curse the women that accepted the fallen angels as as having their children? See, it's affecting my talking now. God cursed the women of the daughters of men that the fallen ones thought were beautiful and wanted to procreate with them. God turned those women into mermaids. It says that right in the Bible, and a lot of the missing books too. So, there's that connection too, of a serpentine like the Naga. Okay. And I believe that the Naga is part human and part whatever this reptilian type of a DNA is. Okay. But the demiurge is, some people call the demiurge Lucifer. I call him the demiurge because all my research that I've found leads me to that one name. And that's just, my findings. Yeah, little by little, they are too. I mean, think about it, David. They're tightening the noose so much. So, anyways, everybody, I really appreciate everybody being here. I know I'm way behind in these comments. I'll go through them as soon as I can. Carl, good to see you. Man, I wish I would have seen that earlier. I hope you're doing good, man. Don't ever scare me like that again. I don't have very much time left in this world. I don't want to lose you, my friend. So you had me worried, and you had everybody in the chat worried. So you're never alone, man. All of you in the chat, you're never alone. Even when I'm not here, I'm going to be here. I'll make sure of it. Yeah, Tanya, you got that right. Don't ever disappear. Yep. Two-headed turtles, yep. All right, guys. Well, I can see I'm starting to sweat now too. I don't know what's going on with me. And coffee for the win, yes. Camo Dad, it's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. And remember, oh, Rhonda, good to see you. Van, good to see you again. You know, you guys. Hey, Jessica. I'm sorry, dear. I didn't see that until now. I'm so behind in the comments. I really am. I'm sorry. But yeah, we have so much. We have so much that has been hidden from us that it's just. Yeah, it's definitely draining, my friend. It really is. Well, everybody, I love you all. Thank you all for being here. I gotta go. I've got it scheduled for tomorrow morning. So I guess I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. And oh, Joanne, thank you, dear. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Lisa, good to see you. I'm trying to get to everybody. Scott, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while, man. So good to see you. And Dawn, good to see you too. Daryl, all right. Scott, man, oh man. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that $10 donation. Wow. Oh, and you gave it right at 12:22 a.m. That's cool. 222. That's awesome. Well, everybody, I'm sorry. I'm falling apart right now. Let me see if there's any more. Yes, I believe that, Lisa. I do. I believe that. I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. But as I tell everybody, just because we have faith in whatever religion we follow in the Creator, in God, that we still should not show fear, because this darkness, this evil that is manipulating this world we live in, thrives off of it. They love it. They eat it up. So just don't show fear. You got nothing to be afraid of anyways, guys. Remember, you were made by God. Nisha, good to see you. All right, Demaria, Dawn, Tanya, Bounty, Urso, everybody, thank you very much. You made it back, but now I'm closing out. And that was 18 minutes ago. I'm way behind in these chat. Oh, man. See, that's what's good about having somebody co-host, but, it is what it is, guys. He probably got stuck doing cleanup and stuff after the storms. Griff, good to see you. Everybody have a great Alexander, good to see you. Kathy, everybody have a great night, okay? And like I said, tomorrow morning I'll come back on, okay? And hopefully Sue, good to see you. Hopefully Eric will be able to come on too. Everybody, please share this out if you can. Mr. L, good to see you. And Amelius, good to see you. Spiritual Ascension, good to see you. All right, guys. About the only way I can end this is say peace, love, and donuts. I'll see you in the morning for coffee. Take care, everybody.
you.